this is recording, so thank you for getting back. Sawadee Kap, hello, good morning. A little bit colder here in Chiang Mai. This is Teacher Cliff. I'm currently with NES, but I would love to join your program, a more full-time position at Montfort, and I've walked by a very lovely school. I was living actually that side for my first month here. Let me get rid of this so now you can see me. So this is a brief 10-minute, 15-minute presentation of how I would deliver gerunds and infinitives to a good 10th grade to 12th grade class. Let me share my screen here. It's early morning, so my voice is a little bit hoarse here. I don't always use, right? Let me rephrase that. I use Lingua House, and I also like Education. They're great templates. Of course, now with artificial intelligence, AI, it's very difficult to provide stimulating material to the students, and they have so much information and knowledge at their fingertips and available to them always. I think it's always been important for language and language learning and other subjects as well to apply it. Otherwise, what's the point? You need to use what you've learned in order to become a master at it. So I think Lingua House has a phenomenal lesson style where the kids are able to interact and work together and learn from each other as well. So let me pull up this one, right? So this is on prepositions from Lingua House. Okay, so normally to, right, goes with a verb as a part of the infinitive form. Okay, so we can look at some expressions here. Of course, I would have this available, and depending on what was behind me or in front of the students, right, in today's world, I would have either a PPT or I would have these available on the height or the white screen. If it's a standard chalkboard, of course, I'm familiar with that as well. So, for example, phrasal verbs, look forward to. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone at Montfort or meeting you tomorrow. Paulina objected to, right? Here we have an adjective plus a preposition clause, right? Simon is addicted to. And then nouns plus prepositions. Susan's dedication to bringing up her children is normal for a mother. So here we have some practice, right? I would have the students. I believe there's teachers, PDFs with our answers. If you need the answers for some of these rudimentary PDFs, you shouldn't be teaching, but once in a while, right? It gets us a little bit turned around too, but complete each sentence using one of the following verbs. So I look forward to having dinner with you tonight. Arnold is addicted to smoking cigarettes, right? So this would be a 5 to 10 minute activity, practice activity for the kids to come together, either do solo. I like doing either solo, pairs, or groups when it comes to speaking. Complete the sentences using your own ideas, right? At first, the life in Dubai. This is a great exercise, a creative way of thinking, right? Just not a standard boilerplate type of mentality. So at first, the life in Dubai wasn't easy for Kate. She wasn't used to living in such hot weather, right? Something along those lines. And here's some answer the questions about you. So I would either have the students go in pairs, right, and ask each other like an interviewing style question, or just possibly solo, but I like the group activity. It also, well, not only is it fun, they learn from one another, but I like to spice things up in terms of having them learn from other students in the class too. We're so conditioned to sit in the same spot, regardless of whether we're assigned that seat or not, and I think that's how we become all friends, right? I think it's better for our sociability and social existence, right, to meet other people and other students. And at that age, right, it's very tricky. Everyone has their cliques, but I try to mix and match other students. So that would be the prepositions, a to plus ing form. For more of the explanations, right, if they want more clarity, I'll be including these, right, with my responsive email back to you. So here we have gerunds and gerund phrases. These are great explanations, right? So I would either, part of the plan was to provide PPTs, of course I would either copy and paste. These are wonderful from education.com, but these are just as good to read from. So a gerund, right, is a type of noun that is made from the verb in the ing form, right? So for example, sailing is his favorite activity. And of course, I'm from the USA, America, so we don't spell favorite with the U. I try to include the differences, right, between American and British English. However, I think a consensus now is that we're kind of more melding together into more of an international English, I believe. And then here we have, right, they are used as objects of verbs. So for example, Jen does not enjoy cooking, or she prefers eating at restaurants. And objects, right, things, are prepositions. So he expresses himself well through writing, or this story is about climbing, right, a mountain. So here we have, right, underline the gerund or gerund phrase in each sentence, then write its function in the blank using the following abbreviations. So I would say surfing is one of the most popular adventure sports in coastal communities around the world. Right, that would definitely be a gerund, but maybe a gerund phrase, right? Surfing, right? To surf, but I would just stick with the gerund myself, and then I would say the gerund here is the subject, right? It's not the object. A surfboard, right, would be the object. So surfing, and then have the children either do this for homework or doing this together. So this is another good PDF, right, from education.com. So gerunds and gerund phrases, and I'll explain that, right? I'll preface that with all my attachments to your email this morning. Okay, and then we have another verb, ing or to, more explanations, right? Perfect. So when one verb follows another, the infinitive to do or an ing form. Right, do you want to have lunch right now? I like talking to her. Right, I decided not to go out. She doesn't recall meeting him. And then here are just some verbal examples, followed by an infinitive, right? Want, manage, decide, threaten, agree, promise, plan, fail, intend, pretend, right? I intend to keep studying, right? My gerunds and infinitives, right? Or I passed by him on the street, but he pretended not to see me. So just some more explanations for the students. Of course, I'm always up there. I'm not a dictator, right? I don't think those days are well gone, especially when we have such bright students that have the technology at their fingertips to cross-check you. I'm always impressed if students want to correct me. That's great. If they have any questions, right, at any time, generally don't try to blurt out, right? Try to raise your hand if you've got a question for anything. I don't know what the school's policy, right? Obviously, I would not like them to be on their phones socially, right? So this is where I try to send these to either the class leader or on their phones, because I love trees as well. I don't want to keep chopping down trees and giving them printouts. So if they can do it online, all the better. So there's a million different ways to go about it nowadays. It makes it more challenging, I think, makes it more interesting to teach. So I would include, right, reading, writing, grammatical structure, grammar points, and creative writing as well. So I think if you can master all of that, then you're doing all right. Especially the speaking part. That goes with the applied, where although we can translate all the time, it's very interesting in a multicultural and international city such as Chiang Mai to see people use their phones to communicate, but it does nothing to heighten your brain activity and make you more intelligent. So I think speaking without the use intelligibly speaking without the use of our phones and technology is brilliant, right? Bilingual, trilingual, polyglutes, right, are just amazing people. So here are some more activities now. Answer the following questions about you, right? Again, partner up. Do the same with the verbs below on page 1 to help you decide whether to use the infinitive or ing form, right? You should stop. It's bad for your health. You should stop smoking, right? Again, so some good social observations, right? Some health observations within these Lingua House PDFs. So we've already done the gerunds and gerunds from education. But again, on my Cambridge lesson plan, and I was very fortunate to have studied at Cambridge for a term, and I like their style. If that's the books that you use, that's wonderful. We currently use Oxford, which are equally good, but I really enjoy Cambridge. So that's wonderful if you have those books. And then gerunds and gerund phrases, we've used that. Let's do identifying, right? Here's some more identifying. But I would start, right, obviously, you explain, you do, or you show, and then you do, right? That's the philosophy generally of teaching. But again, everything's changed so dramatically, right? But just to get the point across, have them practice it. If one or two students, I think at this point in my teaching career, I can identify if one or two are having issues. But my whole desire, if you enjoy it, I try to make it lively and fun for you, for the class. And if you just continuously put forth effort to me, right? And even if you excel, or even if you, right, increase your English knowledge a bit, right? But you're trying. That to me is brilliant. That's wonderful, right? We all learn at different stages and how much we learn, how quickly we learn as well. So here we go. The gerund, right, is made up of a verb in the ing form, the infinitive, the to plus, right, a base form of the verb. So for example, right, for everyone's safety, guests must be at least 22 inches tall. To, right? And then, of course, the participles, they often add an edd, ten, or en, or n, right? So again, underline the verbal, right? That seems to be a very British way of saying that, but that's what we say, the verbal in these sentences, and write which type, right? A gerund, infinitive, a participle. So traveling, right, is a wonderful experience that can help people. So traveling, right, would be the noun form of a gerund, right? That would be the type of verbal. So again, I would just have them do this in class, speak, maybe write me a paragraph or 30 to 50 words. And of course, right, I'm a literary undergrad, so I really enjoy writing, and I'm writing my second book too, so it's been a joy. Here's another PDF that I'll include in the email back. So again, a gerund is a type of noun, is a form of the word to, right? So his goal was to earn enough money for a new mountain bike. And then the participles, right, ending in the suffixes, right, of edd, en, and n, so discouraged by the slow progress. So write whether the bolded phrase in each sentence is a gerund, infinitive, or participle, right? So riveted, right, of course, would be the participle, a participle phrase, riveted by the spectacle on stage. That's a nice phrase. Okay, so moving on. Wrapping this up, I think we have two more infinitive clauses, right? Or one more here, I'm sorry. So again, speaking, brilliant, right? Try to use this. Would you rather? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Would you rather have no internet or no mobile phone? I would rather not have a mobile phone, right? Maybe because I enjoy not having, right, to use the phrase there, right, not having not being connected, right, all the time, something along those lines, so they can actually apply that in speaking. Some more language points, right, that I would review. So maybe I should have shown the lesson plan first, but again, here we have the lesson plan that you provided. So gerunds and infinitives. Sorry, I didn't finish that. Infinitives. So that's today, January 15th. Right. It's just explaining again at the beginning. The lesson objectives is to learn it through doing. Right. And then here we have the ing ed. Right. We'll say the infinitive and other infinitive forms. Right. Okay, and the two form verbs, basic grammar and writing, and then teacher to student, right? I'm sure you're familiar, just the brief phrases. So that would be my explanation from what we just went over. Group activities, group, or I would say, or solo activities. The same as above using these two. Same as above right here, group or solo activities at the end. And if we assign homework, either from the book or what have you. So again, this is Teacher Cliff. I love Chiang Mai. It's a little bit cold this morning. It's been a little bit cold, but lovely weather, beautiful city. But I'm looking for something a little bit more stable. And of course, you've got a wonderful reputation at Montfort, so I would definitely entertain an offer. Of course, I've got to worry about the visa extension now. And of course, that's why I attached, right, as quickly as possible, trying to get the visa. But hopefully we can work something out here in the next week. The airplane, so you know I'm in Niman. Right, that's right. Cue to sign off. All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.